Hello, my name is Maxwell Rockwood Chalmers, and I have developed the delusion that everyone gives a shit about me to an excessive amount. Okay, I can't really explain how I accomplished this. It was a concentrated effort of much willpower and resolve and formulations, and I'm gonna stop being a smart dumb person, but I kind of love it at the same time. So we'll figure that out as time goes on. But as we continue, we must say that there is something that is a little bit problematic about this sort of delusion, because if you are delusional and you think everyone gives a shit about what you're doing and is just secretly paying attention to you, it creates like this kind of weird cognitive distortion effect where your brain and your mind is just in its own zone and you're just doing your thing. And like that's honestly like pretty much like what everyone who's like leading does, is they just be in their own zone anyway. So it's like I'm kind of like a thought leader in my imaginary kingdom of one, which is pretty cool in its own right, but I'm not really sure if I'm going in the right direction or not. It doesn't really matter at the end of the day because I still have a bed and food and like medical care that I can access if I get my head out of my own ass about administrative details. There's a lot of stuff that I need to work on, because I'm just so caught up like feeling like I'm super fucking famous and shit. So like I just feel like a fucking S plus lister. You know what I'm saying? Like that's kind of where I'm at. Is like damn, I just fucking double rolled a fucking Miyabi off the fucking bat. You know what I'm saying? Or you don't. It doesn't really matter. The point is that at the end of the day, like I don't know. It's hard having this kind of delusion. Well, also like trying to be a creative person because you're like constantly in a chorus of like critics, and that makes it really hard to find that kind of creative chrysalis that actually creates inspiring work. But yeah, I don't know. Like I've done a lot of stuff, but the real thing I do is just not sleep. Like to be honest, like I'm just talented at not sleeping. If anyone needs someone to not sleep, that's what I'm good at. According to my brain health status, at the end of the day, like my brain health, like my brain, the way my brain is, like it's really great. It's really nice, but it's just like I was born to be pulling those fucking migrationary trail leadership sessions back in the fucking pre-agricultural days. And nowadays in modern society, that kind of person doesn't really fulfill any of the roles that they need for labor. So it creates this kind of like really tenuous, tension-filled space where it's like, what do we do with this? Like, what do we do with this? Society doesn't know what to do with my skill set the way that it used to know. All that's to say, like, I'm inspired by society's attempts to find ways to like integrate people into society that otherwise may not really serve a role that is beneficial to humankind. That is something that is generous, not necessarily cruel. And that's the sort of contradiction that leads anti psychiatry into a really tough position. Um, but it's more complicated than that, and it's not just that dynamic. That's just like the one I'm most like accustomed to talking about when I'm talking about systems of power. It has to relate to like the medical industry and treatment facilities and all of that stuff. Like I've done my research. I've done my active research in these things, and at the end of the day, I'm still probably completely cooked by like I'm just so cooked, like absolutely cooked by it. But at the end of the day, like it's just like I'm just some cook guy. I'm not really different from anyone else. Like I'm equally cooked as everyone else. Like it's just we're all just in the fucking stew. It's like the reality of the situation. So, I'm gonna learn to be less fucking contentious with other fucking stew buddies because at the end of the day, like I don't know, I haven't been trying to like usurp anything really. I'm just trying to like find my own lane and find my own passions and things that I care about and things that matter to me, like trying to foster a life where I can actually participate in it in a way that doesn't feel like I am complicit in some shady stuff. Like, at the end of the day, like, all of this was not something that I intended to create. That is ultimately what confuses everyone. Like, the what I created, the artifacts I created wasn't what I produced. What I produced was user experience account of what I went through from someone who's skilled at skills such as metacognition and other things. Um, and the idea is that that is descriptive to the people that need it, and the people that don't need it don't get it, and that's totally fine. That's just the reality of life. Is that not everyone gets it, and that's just true of everyone, really. If everyone got everyone else, then life would become like ultimately like trivial, and that would be kind of boring. Like you don't want to be able to solve life in a day, even if your problems feel insurmountable. You don't want to solve life in a day. You want to solve life every day, and that's one thing that I've learned in this process. Of being so comfortable with delusion, being so uh, immersed in delusion. That's one thing that I've learned is that the truest truth that you can hold on to for anyone, at least from my point of view, from my stance, from my place in life, the truest thing you can do is just to do better the next day and just keep going and do your best. And like the idea that there's a day that's going to rescue you from yourself, it's not true.